Alan West is criticizing the way President Obama has handled the U.S. involvement in Libya. He released a statement saying the president has no clear direction in that country. Congressman West is joining us live in the studio tonight to talk about this. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, first let's talk about should the U.S. have gotten involved in Libya in the first place?
Well, I think if you're going to get involved in Libya, it should have been done early on at the onset and not after the course of about 2 to 3 weeks, because you really do allow the other side to get that momentum going. And without a clear defined mission and objective, you know, you can't really protect civilians from 30,000 feet. So if that is the mission, you're going to have to put someone on the ground. And we're already hearing, we're really not looking at removing Muammar Gaddafi from power either.
Do you think that should have been the objective?
Well, I think the most important objective is to make sure that we send our military forces in with a clear mission. This really does cause me concerns going back to looking at Lebanon, Bosnia, and also Somalia, where we interjected forces into civil wars. We didn't give them the right type of rules of engagement, and, you know, those things didn't end up so well. But there are some questions we have to ask. Who are these rebels? Who are their leaders? Where they're getting the support, the financing, the weaponry that they have? Because there's a force that is behind a lot that is happening in North Africa and the Middle East, and we really don't know who that force is and who's going to fill the void of leadership if Gaddafi were to depart.
Now, the president had said that he is not going to be sending in ground troops, but you said in your statement, we cannot protect civilians or remove an impressive leader from power from 30,000 feet
Absolutely.
in the air. Do you think ground troops should be on the table?
Well, I don't think ground troops should be on the table. That's the whole point. So it comes back to what exactly is our mission for being there, because from 30,000 feet you can't provide it. And another thing we have to understand, with the economic situation in which we find ourselves, a Tomahawk cruise missile is $1.5 million each. And in the first 24 hours, we shot about 112 of those.
Wow. You know, Congressman Ted Deutsch was here last night, and he said that whatever happens, it needs to happen quickly. We need to get this thing over quickly. Do you see that happening?
Well, you know, as a 22-year Army veteran, they would always tell you that the enemy has a vote. So even though you may want something to happen quickly, they're going to decide the pace and the tempo. And I think that if we had followed suit with what President Ronald Reagan did early on back in 1986 when he engaged Gaddafi, maybe we would have a different outcome over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
If you were president, what would you have done differently?
Oh, you're trying to set me up with this president talk. I know what you're trying to. I think what I would have done differently totally is to sit down and understand the situation on the ground, not just in Libya, but all across North Africa and across the Middle East. Because if the new paradigm is the new litmus test is we're going to commit forces to protect innocent civilians, then why didn't we do it in Iran? Are we going to do it in Bahrain? Or are we going to do it in Yemen? So I'm really concerned about the precedent that we're establishing.
All right, Congressman Alan West, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.